Welcome to this episode of Celebrity Home Ties. We're coming to you straight from Hollywood. Today we're here in Beverly Hills at the offices of legendary TV producer Norman Lear. That's right, Norman Lear, creator of such great hits as All in the Family, The Jeffersons, One Day at a Time, Maude, and a host of others. Let's take a look at some of the other things that Norman's done, like Stand By Me. Movies like Fried Green Tomatoes. Didn't you like that movie? Or The Princess Bride. We're going to take a look inside the life of Norman Lear at his Act 3 Productions.
This is probably Lolona. She may have smelled the food. Hi.
Is he here?
Is who here?
I don't know his name, but he's tall, skinny, and beautiful.
Hold on now. Tall and skinny we got, but beautiful.
You know, Norman, you have added to people's quality of life with your television shows. What were you thinking back, a long time ago when you took the chance and put a show like All in the Family on, or The Jeffersons that had, a whole African-American cast? I mean, what were you thinking when you took those type of chances? And
I was thinking, how could I add to people's quality of life? I had, at the time, I had 3 kids, and I was thinking about, how do I support these kids?
Okay.
How do I get these kids to college? How do I raise them? And I was a writer, and I'm, despite the fact that I love comedy and I see life through the, through the lens that is comedy, I'm serious. So, as a serious man, I like dealing comedically with serious problems.
My daughter Gloria standing over there.
Hello, Gloria. How are you?
And her husband Mike.
Hello, Mike.
No! This here is, this is only Lionel. He lives next door. My daughter's married to the white guy over here.
All in the Family happened because that's what sparks me.
I'll drink to that. And to friendship.
You hear that?
Ain't that nice?
To friendship, drinking that myself.
Yeah.
You and me?
Oh, yes. Now on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3.
did you think, though, it would have the impact? I mean, could you have ever envisioned how it really changed people's lives in a lot of ways? I think people in this country might have felt the way that Archie Bunker felt or that George Jefferson felt, but would never have those conversations.
If we have a problem, why can't we just talk it through? Like Tom and Helen, they don't fight.
They don't fight because they're scared to fight.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know damn well what it means. If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you.
Don't say it.
You wouldn't have time to take a little walk on the old back, would you?
What's with you and this back walking
Oh,
thing?
it's been acting up again. Just a couple of steps. There's something about the way you do it. It's amazing, really. That's it. Oh, that's lovely, yes. Oh, you have wonderful rhythm in your feet.
George!
First, let me deal with the question of how much impact they had. I've never seen that. I've heard people talk about, how much it changed or how much it affected people. But I remember a conversation with my granddad in Connecticut. My grandfather and I were at a lake. It could have been near Moodus, Connecticut, if there's a lake there. I was only about 8 years old. And I was throwing rocks in the water. And my grandfather said, every time you throw a rock in the water, Norman, the level of the lake rises. And I picked up a group of rocks and I threw it. And I looked at and I said, Grandpa, there's nothing happening here. And he said, but throw another one. I threw another one. He said, see the ripple? He said, remember that. And I didn't know till maybe I was 17 or something. I never made the connection But I realized what he was trying to tell me was, you never get to see the level of the lake rise, but you got to keep trying for the ripples. So that's the way I feel about All in the Family. People told me when the show was over, the family sat and talked, or they argued, or they saw in an uncle or a father or Archie Bunker. So those are ripples. I didn't see the society change or the culture change, but I saw the ripples.
We'll be right back after this word from our sponsors.
.96.5 TIC.
They play today's best variety.
I like 80s music.
Oh yeah, life goes
And some cool 90s stuff too.
Well, it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely.
96.5 TIC FM.
Music that we like to hear today.
Where are you going?
80s, 90s.
And today.
96.5 TIC. 96.5 TIC. Just keeps getting better.
I'll be here Monday at 1 o'clock. Oh, and the first week will be on a trial basis.
Oh, Florida, don't be ridiculous. You're not on trial.
I know, you are. See you Monday.
One of the other things you also taught me, at least that I listened, besides my mom, was also, and also Claire too, is about how one person can make a difference. Everybody can make a difference. And tell us a little bit about I know you've done the People for American Way, you have...
Well, I want to talk about that for a second. No, really, everybody can make a difference.
Okay.
Because and you mentioned my sister, Claire. I've said this to my sister, Claire. Long time ago, she was complaining about something in Hartford or something, and I said, well, why don't you write a letter to your congressman or your mayor or whatever it was. And she said, well, I'm Claire Lear, I'm not Norman Lear. Meaning your letter is going to be far more important. So it was the first time I thought about it this way, and I said to her, I said, Claire, if you believe in God, if you appreciate the scope of the Creator's enterprise here, we are a grain of sand, that proverbial grain of sand on the beach of life, and for us the world was created. But staying with the first part, if you appreciate the Creator's size and scope of the enterprise here, can you get your fingers close enough to measure the distance between any two people and how they matter? Everybody matters.
Norman, most people know you to be a California guy, and not many people realize that you were born in New Haven, Connecticut, raised in Hartford, Connecticut, graduated from Weaver High School. Why do people not recognize or think you're tied to Connecticut?
You know, I move through the country, nobody ever says to me, hey, California guy. I was born and raised in Connecticut. I've lived here, but I have 3 daughters who live in New York. I'm back there all the time. Actually, I have a home in Vermont, and we spend a good deal of time in Vermont. So I've always had a foot in New England. That's really where I come from.
Where are some of your favorite places in Hartford or Connecticut that you like? If you had a place to remember.
I remember the Roger Sherman Theater in New Haven when I was a little boy working for my grandfather on Saturday mornings in his store. That's a strong memory. The Roger Sherman Theater in New Haven, the State Theater in Hartford, when I used to tell my mother that I had to go to the theater because they had a band, a couple of acts, maybe 6 acts of vaudeville or 2 acts of vaudeville, I don't remember, but a band. That's where I saw Glenn Miller, Betty Hutton, all kinds of people, and 2 films. I would sit for a quarter all day long. I used to take trumpet lessons from a Mr. Perlmutter for a quarter or half an hour.
Okay.
And tell my mother that I was going to see the band because I was learning to play the trumpet. That's the only reason they let me stay all day.
So did you always
at
have
Weaver High School, I loved Weaver, listened to our song, Forever We'll Stand By Thee, Never Will a Splitting Wedge of Strife or Trouble Try Thee, something like that.
Yeah, see, you were editor of your newspaper.
I was feature editor.
Didn't it also speak to the potential of success for you in your high school yearbook? Didn't you already know that you were bound or destined for something bigger and greater? I mean,
Oh, yeah, when your high school yearbook tells you you're destined for something bigger,
yeah,
it has to happen. There's no way you're going to get hit by a train the
that's
next
right.
week. You know, everything's in your high school yearbook.
That's it. Did you know that Hollywood was, was it always in your bones? Because I mean, I feel a passion and an energy myself when I come here. I love anything around movies, TV, entertainment. Was that something that you had from a young age, or was it?
I can reflect and see that it was always there, but all I ever wanted to be was a press agent, because I had one uncle on both sides of my family. I was a kid of the Depression, so I had one. My Uncle Jack used to flick me a quarter every time he saw me, and I wanted to be an uncle who could flick a quarter. And I didn't have anybody in my life who cared what I was, so I wanted to be a press agent like Jack. And that's why I came to California, to do that. Ran into somebody who wanted to write, and we started writing.